right now you're being given an opportunity. You can think of it as, Saturn's test, but it's definitely going to be rewarded. Okay, this is something that you will be rewarded for because Saturn is the taskmaster and it does require a level of dedication and devotion. However, you will be rewarded in the end. Okay, I'm hearing for, if you think about it, it's kind of like obedience, but I'm seeing this as like spiritual discipline of some kind. So the energy that's being activated specifically today, if this is finding you on the 17th of September, is Mercury that is in Virgo and it's opposing Saturn in Pisces. And the energy that I was getting for this specifically is, being a spiritual being that is having a human experience and has, entered into this matrix and this cosmic overlay over the earth. Well, you are part of I'm hearing bigger universe, okay, a solar system, and very specific celestial, heavenly bodies that are going through their own, cycles of evolution. They're also organisms of consciousness, evolving in this spherical motion. And the energy is that I'm hearing there's certain activations and alignments that begin to occur that will also impact you, right? Because you are a spiritual being that has incarnated into an alpha third dimensional vessel, right? A carbon-based life form in order to be able to experience life on Earth. And that means that as an extension of the Earth, right, being composed up of the cells of, Pachamama, like, Mother Earth, you will also be... I'm hearing feeling this energy, right? That the earth is also moving through and the energy also moving through you. So just be aware of that, okay, when it comes to your interconnectedness to all things. But yeah, this transit does bring a moment of almost mental reckoning, simply because Mercury in Virgo wants clarity, it wants logic, it wants precision, right? And also like refinement. But with Saturn in Pisces, boundaries begin to blur, and it can also create like this mist or confusion, if you will, especially mentally, where you are being asked to sit and explore deep within yourself and see where there are limitations in your own thinking, right? Especially I'm hearing when it comes to your capabilities or potentials in regards to your life on Earth, right? And being able to see that from more of a spiritual lens. And also I'm hearing even think like the soul, right? And I'm hearing thinking like the soul means that you're not really thinking at all. I'm hearing like thinking like the soul, there is just a pure state of being and being safe and just being. And I feel like that's what you're being advised to do during this aspect. I'm hearing there is a time of doing and there's also a time of being. And this is where facts meet your faith, right? This is the moment where your words must carry this level of responsibility. And I'm hearing doing your due diligence towards this etheric growth, right? So you could feel slowed, you may feel tested or even silenced. And it almost feels like every thought has to pass through Saturn's gate to be like, is this productive when it comes to your life on Earth? Is this something that is, let's just say like co-creative, or is this counterproductive? That's like almost the energy that's coming through, right? For every I'm hearing action should be aligned with purpose, it should be aligned with intention. And really this is about you gaining clarity in regards to what kind of moves to make during this time, especially in regards to how to think about your journey on Earth, right? This is kind of ascending into more of a compassionate way of thinking. I'm hearing even towards yourself and those around you. But the purpose is that it's not punishment, it is kind of this internal realignment that's happening where Saturn is asking you, is what you're saying actually truthful? Is it useful or is it lasting? Is it clutter, complain, or maybe like the thoughts of fear that are arising? And the analogy I was getting was like the stone tablet for you. So if you think about a stone tablet, it etches something that leaves a lasting impression, right? This is almost like when you're writing something on a stone tablet, because there is this level of like, precision and almost your words being something that becomes, what would be the word? Like it's etched into the stone, but almost like not just being a scribe, but it's almost like you chisel this in, right? With a level of precision, and it takes more time, right? With Saturn. This is something that will leave, a lasting impression that stands the test of time, right? And this is about, I'm hearing the immediate impact that your words have on you, okay, and also your thoughts have on you vibrationally. So what I was seeing was Mercury in Virgo is almost like this scribe, where he's very quick with his pen and his ink. Usually, he thrives in this sign, and so he performs very, very well, and he can capture every detail. He's just very, very fluid in his communication abilities, especially in the way that he speaks even internally. It could be about the way that he internally processes things. Like, he's usually very, very quick on his feet. It's the mercurial energy. It's Hermes, right? He is the messenger, and Saturn in Pisces enters, and this paper and this paper that the scribe's holding on to, Mercury and Virgo, begins to dissolve, right? Because Pisces and Saturn is water. It begins to completely disintegrate and dismantle, and as that paper begins to dissolve, kind of soaking the ink, and the ink begins to bleed everywhere, leaving only what is etched into the stone. It's almost like, take only what is necessary, bring forth what is necessary. I'm hearing like almost hold on to the thoughts that are productive at this stage for your soul's journey, and begin to see through the ones that are stemming from like fear, right? Or stemming from control. Scribe realizes that not every thought needs to be recorded, and only the words worthy of endurance are going to remain, especially when it comes to, again, like the soul's endurance on this path. And it's not about the speed of expression, but the weight of meaning, right? Your words have a meaning, and they hold a different kind of level of weight and responsibility. Like, that's going to be something that is emphasized, especially today. This is a day where your words, again, become chisels, right? And this is about you speaking less, and knowing that each syllable you begin to like pronounce, right, actually becomes something that is carried with integrity, right? It holds that level of, again, like there's almost like a duty that you're doing today in regards to the way that you think about your journey on earth. Like, that's literally the energy that I'm getting from this. And the invitation is clarity that you'll gain through that sacred pause. If you do feel blocked, just trust the silence. Again, the soul does not think it's experiencing the thoughts through this vessel, but it's not the one thinking, it's the one that's observing the thoughts. So that's something that you're kind of being advised to come, back into alignment with, and observe the chattering mind today, observe the one that is kind of like doing the thinking, right? And that's happening within you. So yeah, trust that silence is part of the refinement period, and become more disciplined in your thoughts as well. Thoughts are things that we reinforce over and over again, and they begin to become belief systems that are hardwired into us, right? Because in neuroplasticity, this is about you reinforcing these synapses, basically creating synapses in the brain, because you're reinforcing the same, things again and again, and they create new internal networks, right? So I'm seeing you kind of create new runways for yourself today, where I'm almost seeing you kind of disrupt thoughts that are not productive, especially in regards to just the way that you kind of think or feel about yourself. Like, maybe you're saying, oh, I don't know, like, I don't really, I could do, okay, let's just say, for example, this is one that I catch myself in. I'm like, I'm not tech savvy, right? That's a powerful statement to say, I'm not tech savvy. What I begin to, interrupt that sentence in regards to is, oh, actually, like, I'm in alignment with becoming more tech savvy, right? And how am I doing that? How am I showing myself that in the physical? Well, I'm beginning to align with learning more about technology, right? I'm on the journey of becoming more tech savvy. It's a different kind of way, like slight alterations that you can make, but it holds more of a powerful alignment, right? That happens internally, and that's something that I'm hearing. You're kind of being interrupting these, cyclical, thought patterns, and beginning to break through, right? I feel like this is leading to a breakthrough of some kind, where there are just thoughts that are not productive for you. So how can you begin to kind of, replace them, or retweak them, or remold them, and anchor them with compassion and truth, right? I'm saying that's not true, actually. Like, I'm definitely in alignment with becoming more tech savvy. I've learned how to work the camera. I've learned how to work, this. I know how to upload files. Like, if you looked at me like a year ago, like, I've come so far, and there's things that you need to kind of do in regards to that for your experience. Even like one that I caught myself in the other day, where I was like, I don't know, just something that I was thinking about myself, and I was like, I looked at myself later, I was like, is that going to be one of those moments where, like, I look back and I'm like, why was I stressing, right? And I'm like, that wasn't good night. Later on, I was like, that wasn't nice to my inner child, So maybe there's something around like the inner child, like, that wasn't quite a nice thought, like, to the that's like the vibe that's coming through, right? So Yeah, it's almost like there's an invisible apprenticeship that comes through where you do gain what's an apprenticeship? It's something you gain experience in regards to, and it's a lesson in crafting thought and communication and enduring something beyond the moment. So yeah, picturing yourself as like this in this sacred workshop is the energy I was getting. And this is going to bleed into tomorrow's energy, guys. The benches are cleared, you know, the tools are laid out, and there's a space where you can just focus on fully devoting yourself to this craft, especially when I'm seeing like the inner mechanics of your mind. I'm seeing like your mind actually be a workshop. And if you think about like a workshop again, like you have chisels, you have different kind of tools that you can use. And some of the tools are, you know, going to be impactful. Some of the tools are just like surface layer, right? I'm hearing maybe these are just like superficial thoughts. Maybe these are just thoughts that stem from, you know, the wounded self. There's certain tools that you can use. Also like the healed and integrated self, you know, there's different kind of tools that you can use to kind of navigate. I'm hearing these different thought forms. What I was seeing was Mercury in Virgo is kind of sitting here as the scribe, and he's again very quick with the ink and the quill, and he's eager to kind of record everything that's going on in his mind. But I'm hearing that's like the moment where you don't need to write everything that's on your mind. I'm hearing you don't even need to say everything aloud that you're thinking right now. Have you ever been in a stage where you've been so unconscious, right, to the point where you're just saying things just to say them? And the words don't really hold any meaning, right, or any weight. It's almost like you're just saying everything that's on your mind. Yeah, his hands begin to move fast, his mind races ahead, and each word feels, you know, very, very important in the moment. But then Saturn in Pisces arrives, and he's not as a judge, but Saturn in Pisces is like a master builder, right? He's teaching you how to build things with compassion, and he's cloaked in this, you know, mystery. And, you know, again, the paper dissolves, the ink begins to run and bleed everywhere, and it just reveals only what is necessary, right? What is necessary. This is about really stilling the mind and holding on to only what will you know, stand the test of time, and etching only what feels so aligned during this period. And knowing that your words, one kind of inscribed into this stone tablet, will outlast you. You know, this is something that will outlive you. So this could be even about the impact that your words have, right? The impact that your words have, right? Let's go and get I want to take a look at a Cosmos Oracle message and just see what's going on in your workshop, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in your workshop. Spectrum, right? Seeing things from a wider viewpoint, right? Zoom out until the speck becomes the storm becomes a speck, right? Maybe you feel like you've zoomed out and you feel like you've been observing the thoughts, but you've still been in the storm and you've been thinking that it's a speck, and you're going to see how everything is so much more interconnected than you think it is. I feel like especially certain thoughts that may link to like childhood, or certain thoughts that may link to like your history of some kind, you're going to see like the origin point of those thoughts. Especially I'm seeing like belief systems for you that begin to become dismantled. This is where you begin to question, when did I first start? Where does that belief system stem from? When that the belief is connected to a thought, right? When did I first start thinking that way, right? Was it from comparison? Was it from like feeling rejected? Was it from not feeling good enough? Was it from feeling I need to try to hold on to control, right? Where does that stem from? Because Virgo in its shadow can be feeling like everything's always going to be a work in progress, and not stepping back. Pisces, that teaches us to see the masterpiece while you still may feel like you're work in progress, you know, and being able to just admire the intricacy that you are and how complex you are as well. I'm hearing complex in your design. So yeah, with multiverse, even at the base, I feel like these are certain thoughts that are bleeding in from, you know, alternate timelines, alternate realities that you're, you know, weaving in and out of. It's like you're always phasing in and out of these different dimensions of self, and you're going to see the quality of your thoughts. That's really what it is. Like, I feel like you're going to really see the quality of your thoughts. How conducive are they, right? What kind of charge do they have, and how does that directly impact your emotions? Like, you know, thoughts are bioelectrical currents. It's almost like there is a charge that's being put into you, being, you know, mainly water, and it allows you to hold a very specific geometric structure that can either be, you know, not in harmony and not symmetrical, or more in harmony, where you can see the truth, right, of the origin point. You can begin to really understand what is in alignment with your highest truth, and how can you begin to guide yourself there. I feel like you're kind of guiding your thoughts, you know? I'm hearing like, again, you control your thoughts instead of allowing them to control you. That could be what it is for you, especially like nervous energy or a level of anticipation. You know, is it more about feeling grounded and rooted in your eternal essence, experiencing the thoughts, but knowing that, you know, you're experiencing them, but also none of them at all. You know, Pisces in Saturn and Pisces teaches us detachment in that way, you know, detaching from what we think is important and seeing maybe it's not as important as we may first think, right? Especially after this lifetime. You know, this is just going to be a page in a book, right? Maybe it's just going to be a sentence that's etched into the Rosetta Stone, right? Maybe it's just going to be a symbol. That's what I'm seeing. Something that can be so huge. It's almost like you write a whole book and then you go through and you take forth only what is, you know, the most important, and it's encrypted into just one symbol. You know, I'm seeing you kind of make things more simple. Things can be more simple during this time. You can simplify. Yeah. It's more simple than you think it is. I think that's what you need to hear today. It can be as hard or easy as you want to make it. I'm hearing you have the tools necessary. Sometimes it's about even knowing that you only need one tool for it. Sometimes it's knowing that you are that one tool. So, yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Should we read the spectrum before we go? Let's see. Spectrum. Spectrum, the ability to see and perceive the full range of energy. So what is that? That's to be able to see the, you know, you're here to experience the full range of human emotion, right? Each emotion is linked to a thought. But you're also here to begin to put yourself back into the 0 point, right? The center of everything that you're feeling and thinking, right? Everything that you're experiencing, the emotions and thoughts that you're experiencing. But put yourself back into that 0 point, right? That neutral observation, and begin to observe the thoughts that you're having right now. You know, that's almost what I'm seeing. It's almost like a filing cabinet in a workshop, and you're kind of organizing the tools that you need. That's what I'm seeing for you, like literally organizing the tools that you need. I'm seeing water flood the workshop and dissolve all the papers, and the ink begins to bleed. And as the water begins to kind of drain out, it leaves only the chisel and the stone. And because of that, you're left with something that appears to be limited, but in it, you've never felt so free, because there's a new creation that can unfold. And I feel like this is your life. Okay. So yeah, it talks about a group of photons divided by diffraction and several bandwidths of color that pass through the optic prism. The spectrum talks about the ability to see the whole question and in turn expand it to understand everything that's composed of. So this is about being derived of the appearance. It shows that there is much more than what we see with the naked eye. So again, this is something that is deeply within you. It talks about the 7, right? The 7 hidden virtues, the 7 days of the week, the 7 chakras, right? The 7 musical notes, the 7 archangels, chakras in the body. The moon changes phases every 7 days. So there's that kind of essence that's coming through for you. It's almost like a reset. If you think about that, it's almost like a reset that's occurring in your life. So with that being said, I'm gonna love and leave you right there. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. I'm also seeing with the 7 chakras, them being linked to, you know, very specific vortices or vibrational frequencies and thoughts and emotions. And there's something around being able to reverse engineer and see what chakra that thought is coming from. That can be significant for you, right? Is it like an imbalanced sacral chakra and you're feeling insecurity or shame or, you know, like deep guilt, right? Are the thoughts a product of a deep shame that you've picked up from like an origin point of some kind down your space-time continuum travels? And can you tune into the one that is unaffected by that event, right? The one that's untouched by time, and observed how that event had your vessel adopt certain thoughts that then created belief systems that then restricted or limited the way that you move through this existence. Like, that's what I'm seeing for you, right? Is there an event that made you doubt yourself, right? Imbalance. So solar plexus, right? Is there something that made you really doubt yourself? And how can you begin to cultivate more self-trust and confidence in navigating this existence, utilizing your intuition, right? Feeling empowered instead of overpowered. Especially, I'm hearing your ability to kind of make decisions for yourself. Seeking that internal light instead of seeking it externally, right? Your solar divinity rising. Anyway, that's what I'm seeing. Have you felt disconnected from yourself? You guys might want to watch the reading that we did around your life as a movie. We've done a few, but I'll try and find it and link it down below, but it's to do with the quantum cinema. Those energies are being activated in this read for sure. Have you felt disconnected? What thoughts that you can integrate that allow you to feel more connected with yourself, to integrate is to become whole, is to become healed, right? To experience this existence through the vessel from the lens of the soul. What is the soul experiencing through you? The soul is experiencing lessons through you, through this vessel. And even the vessel, that's not your true self. Thoughts and emotions? No. The one that I'm telepathically communicating with right now. So, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Auto Spirit if you guys are looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. I have a discount code there too. And until next time, bye.